Finally, thank you Sony, they've just announced the brand new 85mm 1.4G m2 lens. Now I've been waiting for this lens for several years and this is everything you need to know in a first look video. My name is Mike Quill, I am m.visuals, I'm a photographer and director. Thanks for stopping by for today's video, let's get straight into it. So firstly, a quick side-by-side of the two lenses. This is obviously the new GM2 and this is the original 85mm. Now I was not a fan of this in the first place, it was big, it was slow, and it's not the sharpest lens either, so I'm excited to test out this upgrade. The new 85mm weighs 642 grams versus the old 85mm weighs 820 grams. Now there's not much comparison in height, they are pretty much the same. The new one is 107.3 millimeters versus the old one which is 107.5 millimeters, so marginal difference there. You won't notice it because I definitely didn't. But there is a reduced size in width, so the girth is a lot smaller in the new 85mm. So the Mark 1 85mm is 89.5mm wide versus the brand new 85mm is 84.7mm wide, which is approximately a 20% reduction in weight. And on the new 85mm, the lens construction group elements are 11 to 14 versus on the old 85mm is 8 to 11. So a big upgrade there. Quick walkthrough of the outside of the lens. We've obviously got the aperture ring, which the Mark 1 also had, but this one has two custom buttons, so it has one right there and then another here as well. It also has the AF, MF and the click, which that also had, but this one has an iris lock, which you guys can see just there, which the Mark 1 didn't. It's still a 77mm thread, which is great to see, so you don't have to buy any more or any new filters. And the lens hoods are exactly the same. I'm personally not a lens hood guy, but it just makes it look really massive and bulky. But you'll see that is, whoop, lock it in. That's the lens hood there. So if you do have a lens hood on, it does look a bit more chunky. And then this is the lens hood, obviously, if you're going to then shoot with it. So it does extend it. And for those of you that do like lens hoods, it does look really nice. But personally, I'm not a huge lens hood guy. Just noticed, actually, this is a little bit bigger. Haven't got a stat on this, but it is slightly taller. So the new lens hood is slightly bigger, as you can see here. New lens hood, old lens hood. So I already mentioned that I was not the biggest fan of the Mark 1. It was very noisy as well. So for video, they've dramatically changed that. This is quiet. It's very fast on the autofocus. And they've suppressed the chromatic aberration. So there's a lot of stats there. You guys know that I'm not overly into that. I want to test it and see how it works. So I did shoot a couple of frames back to back using a tripod, so they're exactly the same. We're going to jump into them now and go through the edits, and we're going to zoom in to see the chromatic aberration. You can see my brain was working there, as well as the sharpness from edge to edge and the bokeh. So firstly, let's check out the corners. So we can see here, this is pretty sharp. We'll use this as a kind of center point of the screen here. Now, if we do the same thing with the old, you can really see that is a dramatic difference in sharpness on that. And then if we do the same thing in the middle, this is the new one on the kind of face here, and we do that on the old lens. Can you guys see the difference there on the screen? You can see some of my presets are here. I'll put the link in the description. But yeah, you can see these aren't edited. These are straight out of camera. And the difference there in the sharpness is quite dramatic on the wall there. Checking out the top left-hand corner here. And again, on the old lens, again, you can see that's really almost fuzzy versus the new, that is mad sharp. Let's check out this corner here. There's a little bit of obviously bokeh because the focus was, it actually picked up on eye autofocus on the face here in the middle. But if we just check out the corners here, we can see, yeah, again, super sharp there, a little bit fuzzy on the old one. And then let's check out on the, rather than being on the corners, let's check out the line here. So it's like the mid center point. We'll do the same thing on the new lens. Again, you can see really that is so much sharper. Even in the mid, kind of heading towards the middle of the frame there. Yeah, dramatic difference. New lens, 1,000 times better so far. on that first little test. Moving on to the portraits, and this was a great test of not only how sharp the portraits can be, but also the bokeh in the background. And you can see again, for some reason, when you look at these, it actually crops in slightly. So this is the old version, which is cropped in, and this is the new 85mm. I'm not exactly sure why. I haven't asked Sony. Maybe if one of you guys do know, let me know in the comments. So we're zooming into the old here. Suki, the model, I'll put her socials in the description as well. She has a really cool look, and you can see, I mean, this looks great. This is the old 85. I mean, it looks good, but when you actually then click, you can see such a difference there between the old and the new. Just the sharpness is just so much better when you then move them across, and you can really see that slightly more zoomed out here. You can really see the difference there. She did a great job of keeping the exact same pose. I was in switching lenses, and so she didn't move there. Let's just show you again here. So that's the old, and then that's the new, old, new. And then looking at the background, so we haven't actually got any lights here. I probably should have thought about having some fairy lights, but we don't. So we're going to look at the bokeh. There's a little bit of bokeh here, you can see, and we'll do the same thing on that. So it's not actually that noticeable because I haven't done a great job of finding the best bokeh, but you can see here the bokeh. I don't know if you can see, but that's kind of how it looks. And you can really see the sharpness of the portraits is quite dramatic from the new lens to the old lens. The sharpness edge to edge is dramatically different. We'll boot that out of the way. We don't like that lens anymore because it's just, yeah, there's no comparison. It's night and day. So the speed, it's not even comparable. We didn't shoot any BTS of it, but this is so much faster, and I'll show you guys in the POV how fast it really is. And you have to take my word for it. This is just not fast at all. It needs to go on the floor. In case you didn't realise, not a massive fan of this lens. I'm excited to take this out on the POV. Don't forget to subscribe already if you haven't subscribed to be the first to check that out. And if this video's been out a little while, the POV will be linked somewhere at the end. Big up for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one very soon. And it's got suppressed, and they've suppressed the chromatic aberration. Fuck, that's a tongue twister.